Alex Harper had never been very graceful. That was not news to anyone who knew him on Earth, but in the vastness of space, a single clumsy move could cause more than embarrassment. It could start an interstellar incident. He sighed as he adjusted the straps on his cargo harness, making sure the packages of supplies for the alien planet Zarathus were secure. The interstellar station hummed with activity. Humans, Zarathians, and a dozen other species walked the corridors. The air was alive with languages, some spoken aloud, some telepathically. Alex felt a little out of place in his human skin. He was here to deliver the supplies, not make friends or enemies. "Remember, Harper," his supervisor, Lieutenant Jin, had said before he boarded the shuttle, "the Zarathians have complex customs. Do not, I repeat, do not touch the Queen or try to speak on her behalf, and for goodness sake, do not eat the glowing fruit." Alex had nodded, though his stomach had already growled at the mention of food. The shuttle landed with a soft thrum on Zarathus. As Alex stepped out, he was immediately struck by the alien beauty of the planet. The sky shimmered with a turquoise hue, and 3 suns hung low, casting long, colorful shadows across the floating gardens and crystalline towers of the capital. He had expected alien architecture to be intimidating, but Zarathus felt alive, almost breathing. A Zarathian attendant guided him to the palace, a structure that glowed faintly from within, walls lined with liquid crystal and bioluminescent plants that responded to movement. Alex's cargo was small, but it needed a formal delivery, which meant a ceremonial dinner with the Zarathian Council, and, unfortunately, with the Queen herself. Queen Lyra was waiting when he entered the main hall. She was taller than any human, with skin that shifted color slightly in the light, giving her an ethereal appearance. Her eyes, large and violet, studied Alex curiously. There was a calm authority in her presence that made Alex feel very small. "Welcome, human," her voice resonated in his mind, not spoken aloud. He realized the Zarathians communicated partly through telepathy. "I am Queen Lyra. You bring our supplies?" Alex swallowed nervously. Yes, Your Majesty. I am Alex Harper. I hope these materials meet your, requirements." He gestured awkwardly toward the floating crates. One of them wobbled dangerously. He lunged to steady it, nearly tripping over his own foot in the process. Lyra's lips curved into a small smile. "You are different," she said, a note of amusement in her telepathy. "Humans are indeed unpredictable." Alex's face flushed. I can assure you I'm usually more careful." The Queen motioned for him to follow her into the dining chamber. The room was vast, with high ceilings that reflected light like a prism. Zarathian nobles sat around, their skin shimmering in various hues. On the long, glowing table were dishes Alex had never seen, pulsating fruits, liquids that floated in midair, and a sparkling crystal that seemed almost alive. He tried to recall Lieutenant Jin's advice. "Don't eat the glowing fruit." He peeked at a tiny floating orb on a silver dish. "Definitely not eating that." Lyra spoke again, her thoughts brushing his mind with curiosity. "You are to sit, human. Partake in our ritual of greeting." Alex hesitated. Ritual of greeting? Was it dangerous? He didn't have time to ask. The other guests had already begun a synchronized gesture. Their hands hovered above the table, palms out, glowing threads of light connecting them. Alex panicked. He mimicked the motion, hands raised awkwardly. The threads of light did not form. Instead, a single bright line shot from him straight to the Queen. The room fell silent. Every Zarathian turned to look at him. Queen Lyra's eyes widened, not in anger, but in surprise. The light between them grew, brighter and warmer. Alex realized too late what had happened. "Oh no," he whispered. The Queen spoke softly, though her words reverberated through his mind. You have done what no other human has done in 1,000 cycles. You have proposed. Alex froze. Wait, what? His mind raced. He had not meant to propose. He had only been trying to copy the gesture. Lyra smiled gently. Yes, I accept. Alex's stomach dropped. He felt like the floor had vanished beneath him. You accept? He stammered. Indeed. She tilted her head, her glowing hair drifting like liquid light. We will be joined in the ritual of partnership. Alex clutched his cargo strap like a lifeline. Partnership? No, I didn't. This was a mistake. The Queen's expression remained serene. Mistake or not, your courage to act without fear has honored me. You are human, and humans are brave in unexpected ways. I accept your proposal. Alex tried to think. How could he explain this? How could he undo it without insulting the Queen or starting a diplomatic incident? He opened his mouth to speak, but another Zarathian stepped forward. A court official, their skin a soft lavender, spoke in flowing telepathy. Your Highness, the human did not intend this, but custom demands respect. Shall we proceed with the ceremonial greeting? Alex groaned inwardly. We're going to have a ceremony? He muttered under his breath. His ears were slightly ringing, but no human could have heard him, only the Zarathians. Lyra nodded. Yes, it will be brief. You will not be harmed, human. Alex stared at her. Not harmed? That was comforting. Only slightly. The ceremony was a blur of color, sound, and alien light. Alex had to place his hand in a dish of floating liquid, bow at angles he didn't understand, and recite words he didn't know. Every time he nearly made a mistake, Lyra's presence guided him. Her calmness was like a tether, keeping him from panicking completely. By the end, he had been officially recognized as her betrothed, though he was still human enough to feel completely overwhelmed. He looked around the room. The other Zarathians were smiling, or at least giving what Alex interpreted as polite smiles. He could sense curiosity, amusement, and maybe even admiration. Lyra placed her hand, or what Alex thought of as a hand, near his. A faint shimmer connected them. He wanted to pull away, to explain everything, but her gaze was kind, patient, and oddly encouraging. Do not fear, human, she said gently. This is new, yes, but it is not unwelcome. You have my respect and trust. Alex swallowed. He didn't know if he could feel the same, not yet. But for some reason, her calmness eased the panic in his chest. He could breathe again, though his heart was still racing. After the ceremony, the Queen invited him to walk in the palace gardens. Alex stumbled a bit on the floating stone path, but Lyra laughed, soft, musical, not mocking. You are clumsy, she observed telepathically. Alex rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed. Yeah, I guess humans are not always graceful. Yet, you act with courage, she replied. That is rare, even among your kind. Alex blinked. Courage? He felt like anything but courageous. He had accidentally proposed to an alien queen and survived the ceremony. That was more luck than bravery. The palace gardens glowed with alien light, plants pulsing gently, flowers shifting color with every step. Alex realized the beauty of Zarathus was almost distracting. He had to focus to keep his hands away from the floating fruits. Lyra moved beside him silently, her thoughts brushing his in a calm rhythm. You will learn, human. Custom can be confusing, but you will adapt. Alex nodded, though he felt anything but confident. I hope so, Your Majesty. I really do. For the first time since he arrived, Alex felt a spark of excitement beneath the panic. Maybe, just maybe, this accident could lead to something remarkable. He didn't know if he was ready to be the human betrothed to the Queen, but he was alive, and he was learning. And for now, that was enough. Alex Harper had survived the ceremonial accident. He was now officially the human betrothed of Queen Lyra. Yet that title felt far heavier than he could have imagined. Each morning, he awoke to a palace that seemed alive with strange lights, unfamiliar sounds, and plants that pulsed softly as if breathing. He had hoped that once the ceremony was over, things would settle, but instead, he found himself thrown even deeper into the world of Zarathian customs. The first challenge arrived with breakfast. Alex was led into the dining chamber, which shimmered in colors he couldn't name. Floating bowls hovered near the table, each holding foods that defied gravity and logic. There were spherical fruits that glowed like little stars, crystal-like grains that changed color when stirred, and liquids that formed shapes in mid-air before dissolving. A Zarathian servant glided silently toward him, placing a plate of small, glowing orbs in front of him. Alex remembered Lieutenant Jin's warning. "Do not eat the glowing fruit." Thank you," Alex said, eyeing the food nervously. He poked one orb with a fork. It quivered, rolling slightly, then stopped. He flinched. "It's alive?" Queen Lyra's voice appeared in his mind, calm and amused. "No, human. It is not alive. It reacts to touch but cannot harm you." Alex relaxed slightly, but only slightly. He had learned one thing already. Zarathian customs were unpredictable, and one wrong move could cause disaster. Yet, despite the danger, he was determined to adapt. After breakfast, Lyra invited him for a walk in the palace corridors. This time, the corridors were less daunting, fewer floating lights, fewer alien faces, but the lessons in etiquette were no easier. "Alex," Lyra said, her voice brushing his mind gently, "to live among us, you must understand the importance of gestures. Even a simple greeting can convey respect or offense." I'm trying," Alex admitted. "It's hard for me to remember everything." "You have courage, human. That is already rare. The rest can be learned." As they walked, Alex watched the palace staff and visitors. Every movement, every tilt of the head, every color shift in their skin carried meaning. Zarathians were highly expressive, not through words, but through subtle changes in their appearance and telepathic tone. One wrong tilt of his head could be interpreted as disrespect. At one point, a Zarathian noble approached, eyes glowing faintly with curiosity. Alex attempted a bow, but misjudged the angle, almost knocking over a floating lantern. The noble's skin flickered a warning color. Alex's heart skipped a beat. Lyra's hand rested lightly on his arm. "It is acceptable. You learn, human. You do not offend intentionally, and that is all that matters." Alex exhaled. He realized that Lyra was patient in ways no human he knew had ever been. She did not scold him or mock him for mistakes. She guided him, corrected him gently, and made him feel that he could survive this alien world, if he tried. The afternoon brought lessons in communication. Zarathians relied on a mix of telepathy and gestures, but humans could not project thoughts naturally. Alex had to learn to speak carefully, choosing words that would not be misinterpreted. Lyra, surprisingly, offered guidance. "Imagine your words as threads, Alex. Each thread connects to another mind. If you tug too hard, you may cause tension or pain. Be gentle." Alex nodded. "Okay, threads. Got it." They practiced with a small group of Zarathian children, who giggled as Alex struggled. One child's skin flickered a soft green, a sign of amusement. Alex's words tangled, his sentences coming out awkwardly. Lyra laughed softly, a sound that vibrated warmly in his mind. "You are not perfect, human. You never will be," she said, "but your effort is admirable." Alex felt a small swell of pride. He had never received praise like this before, from anyone. Not from teachers, not from bosses, not even from friends. Lyra's approval was different. It felt genuine. Even as Alex began to feel more comfortable, he still stumbled through other customs. When invited to the palace gardens, he accidentally brushed a glowing plant with his sleeve. The plant recoiled, shifting colors rapidly. Alex froze. Lyra approached, observing the plant and then him. It is unharmed. You have touched it without awareness, yet you did so with respect. That is acceptable. Alex exhaled, realizing that the queen saw intention and effort as much as action. This gave him hope that he could survive the daily challenges of Zarathian life. Days passed, and Alex's awkwardness became a source of quiet amusement for the court. Nobles whispered among themselves about the human betrothed, but none could deny his courage. He did not shrink from difficult tasks. He did not retreat in fear. He acted, even when unsure. That was something Zarathians respected. Then came the political challenge. One morning, Lyra summoned him to the council chamber. Alex expected another lesson in etiquette, but this time the issue was serious. Zarathis faced a potential conflict with a neighboring system. A rogue faction threatened trade routes, and the council needed innovative solutions. You may not understand our politics fully, Alex, Lyra said, her voice calm but firm. But your perspective may be valuable. Humans think differently. Alex blinked. I can try. I don't know much about Zarathian politics. That is why you may succeed where others cannot, Lyra replied. For hours, Alex listened to the council's debates, asking questions and offering suggestions. His ideas were unusual, sometimes impractical, but his willingness to speak and think differently impressed Lyra and some council members. Slowly, he began to earn a place not just as a visitor, but as someone whose opinion mattered. That evening, Lyra took him back to the palace gardens. The twin moons of Zarathis glowed softly, casting silver light across the floating flowers. You adapt quickly, she said. Most humans would crumble under such pressure. Alex shrugged. I have no choice. If I make a mistake, well, it could be very bad for both of us. Lyra's thoughts brushed his gently. Perhaps, but courage often comes from necessity. You have it, human. You surprise me. Alex smiled faintly, feeling warmth in her words. Slowly, he realized that the queen was not just a figure of authority. She was a mentor, a guide, and, though he would never admit it out loud, someone he admired. As the night wore on, Alex reflected on the strangeness of his situation. Just a week ago, he had been an ordinary engineer, delivering supplies to an alien planet. Now, he was the accidental fiancé of a queen, learning her culture, navigating political intrigue, and trying not to embarrass himself at every turn. And yet, despite the confusion, he found the experience exhilarating. He was learning, growing, and, most importantly, he was surviving. Every misstep, every awkward gesture, every failed attempt at communication brought him closer to understanding a civilization far beyond human imagination. That night, as he lay in the guest quarters, Alex thought about the journey ahead. Zarathian customs were complex, their traditions ancient and delicate. But he would face them. He would learn. He would adapt. And maybe, just maybe, he would discover that this accidental proposal was the start of something far more meaningful than he could have imagined. Because in the heart of the alien queen's world, courage, curiosity, and kindness mattered, even more than perfect etiquette. The day began quietly, but Alex Harper knew better than to trust quiet on Zarathis. The palace had a way of feeling peaceful one moment, and then alive with purpose the next. Today, the halls were bustling more than usual. Lyra had summoned him early, and the urgency in her thoughts was unmistakable. Alex, she said, her voice calm yet firm, we have a situation. A rogue asteroid approaches Zarathis. It threatens the northern colonies. Alex froze. An asteroid? His mind raced. On Earth, he had studied orbital mechanics in school. But this was not a classroom problem. It was real, and it could destroy lives. Yes, we have limited time. Our defenses can redirect it, but we may need alternative solutions. Your knowledge of engineering could help. Alex swallowed. He had never led a planetary defense mission. I'll try. I'll do my best. Lyra nodded, and for a moment he saw something almost human in her gaze. Trust. She trusted him, and in that trust, Alex found a strange confidence. They went to the palace research chambers, a vast room filled with floating holographic screens, alien tools, and strange machines. Zarathian engineers and scientists worked around the clock, adjusting readings and running simulations. Alex felt a mix of awe and intimidation. Your approach may differ from ours, human, Lyra explained, but your ingenuity is why I invited you. Think like a human, not like a Zarathian. Alex nodded and took a deep breath. He scanned the asteroid's trajectory. The Zarathians were considering using their gravitational deflection fields, but they had limits. Alex remembered an old Earth solution, using controlled explosions to slightly nudge objects off course. He hesitated, then shared the idea. What if we combine your deflection fields with controlled impacts at precise angles? We could redirect it without destroying the colonies. The Zarathian engineers paused, exchanging telepathic glances. One of them, a tall figure with shimmering blue skin, tilted their head slowly. Lyra turned to Alex, eyes glowing faintly. Explain it in detail, she instructed. Alex moved to a holographic projection, manipulating it with careful gestures. If we hit the asteroid with small kinetic pulses at these points, he pointed, and coordinate with your fields here and here, the asteroid will adjust its path slightly. Repeated over time, it will shift far enough from the colonies. Lyra observed silently, then nodded. Interesting. This method is unorthodox, but it could work. You will lead a team of engineers to implement it. Alex's heart pounded. Leading a team on a Zarathian planet? He had never been in charge of anything larger than a small maintenance crew, but Lyra's trust gave him courage. Over the next hours, Alex worked side by side with Zarathian engineers. The language barrier was challenging, but their telepathy helped. He learned to communicate ideas not just in words, but in images and intent. Slowly, they understood each other. At one point, a Zarathian suggested using a stronger pulse in a certain direction. Alex shook his head. That might split the asteroid. We only want to redirect it, not break it apart. Lyra watched quietly, then sent a wave of approval. He is cautious and clever. Good judgment. The work continued into the evening. The twin moons of Zarathis rose, casting soft silver light over the palace. The team set up the kinetic pulse devices along the asteroid's predicted path, synchronized with the Zarathian deflection fields. Alex double-checked every calculation, feeling a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Finally, it was time. Alex and Lyra stood on the observation platform, overlooking the colonies and the asteroid's approach. The device activations were coordinated, the fields humming in a rhythm that made the air vibrate softly. Alex held his breath as the pulses began. The asteroid wavered slightly, its course shifting just as predicted. The Zarathians cheered softly, careful not to disturb the delicate timing. Alex allowed himself a small smile. Lyra stood beside him, her gaze steady. You have done well, human. Alex laughed nervously. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. And I could not have done it without your human perspective. We make a good team, she said. The asteroid continued its slow drift, moving safely away from the colonies. Alex's hands trembled slightly with relief. He had survived the ritual, the customs, and now he had contributed to saving an entire planet. Later, in the quiet of the palace gardens, Lyra approached him. "You handled yourself admirably today, Alex." Alex leaned against a glowing crystal tree, still catching his breath. I just did what I could. I didn't want to fail. And you did not. That is courage, human. Not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. Alex looked at her, suddenly realizing how much he had learned from her, not just about Zarathian culture, but about bravery, patience, and trust. Lyra's hair glimmered in the moonlight. "You surprise me often, Alex. The ceremony may have been accidental, but your actions prove that you are worthy of trust." Alex felt warmth in his chest, something more than relief. Worthy of trust? For a moment, he allowed himself to feel proud. He had come to Zarathis as an ordinary engineer, and now he was someone who mattered in a crisis. The next few days were filled with training and preparation. Alex studied Zarathian engineering techniques while teaching them some human methods of problem-solving. The collaboration was not always smooth. There were misunderstandings, miscalculations, and occasional explosions of harmless energy. But it worked. One evening, while recalibrating a field generator, Alex looked at Lyra. She was watching him silently, her expression thoughtful. "You are different from what I expected," she said softly. "You are not like other humans we studied." Alex smiled faintly. "Different how?" "You are patient, curious, and brave. You do not rush to conclusions, yet you act when necessary. That is rare." Alex felt a strange pride. Lyra's approval meant more than he could explain. He had never been recognized like this. On Earth, he often felt average, unnoticed. Here, on Zarathis, he mattered. As the asteroid moved farther from the colonies, the Zarathians celebrated quietly, not with loud cheers, but with soft, glowing patterns and harmonic vibrations. Alex realized that in this world, success was measured not by applause, but by effectiveness, respect, and contribution. Lyra approached him again, her eyes gentle. "You have done well, Alex. More than well. You have proven that humans can contribute meaningfully to our world." Alex laughed softly, rubbing the back of his neck. "I guess the accidental proposal wasn't entirely bad." Lyra tilted her head, a faint shimmer in her eyes. "Perhaps not. Sometimes accidents reveal the true potential within." The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. Alex began to understand not just Zarathian customs, but their philosophy. Courage, creativity, and cooperation were valued above perfection. Mistakes were tolerated if intention and effort were honorable. That understanding gave Alex confidence. He realized that being human, imperfect, impulsive, curious, was not a weakness here. It was a strength. By the end of the week, the asteroid threat was fully neutralized. Alex and Lyra stood together on the observation platform, watching the sun rise over the northern colonies. The planet was safe, and he had played a key role. "You have exceeded expectations, human," Lyra said quietly. "Perhaps this partnership is not accidental after all." Alex looked at her, the weight of the words sinking in. He had entered Zarathis as a visitor, a clumsy engineer, unsure of himself. Now he was a partner in leadership, someone who had earned respect and trust in a world far beyond Earth. And as he looked at Queen Lyra, standing tall and radiant beside him, he realized that this unexpected partnership might be the beginning of something extraordinary, not just for him, but for humans and Zarathians alike. For the first time, Alex Harper felt that his life on Zarathis, though accidental, was exactly where he was meant to be. The success of the asteroid mission had brought relief to the northern colonies of Zarathis, but peace was short-lived. Only a few days later, a new challenge emerged, one that would test Alex Harper and Queen Lyra in ways neither of them had anticipated. The alert came early in the morning. The palace monitoring systems had detected a rogue fleet approaching the planet's outer orbit. These were not explorers or traders. Their formation was aggressive, precise, and technologically advanced. The Zarathian Council convened immediately, and Alex, still officially the Queen's human betrothed, was called to observe. Lyra's expression was calm, but Alex could feel her tension. "They will test us, Alex. Your input may be crucial." Alex nodded, his stomach tightening. He had learned a lot about Zarathian technology in the past week, but this was a step beyond. Interstellar defense strategy, not just engineering solutions. In the council chamber, holographic maps of the approaching fleet filled the room. Zarathian generals and engineers analyzed the situation, their skin glowing with concern. "One of their vessels has superior propulsion," Lyra explained. "They can outmaneuver our conventional interceptors. We must act quickly." Alex scanned the data. "Maybe we could use their speed against them?" He hesitated, unsure if it was a reasonable suggestion. "If we guide them toward gravitational fields around the planet's moons, it could slow them down, giving our defenses time to respond." Lyra's gaze sharpened. "Explain." Alex moved to a holographic projection, tracing the fleet's trajectory. "See here," he said, highlighting the moons and their orbital patterns. "If we create temporary gravitational distortions, your technology can handle that. We could force the fleet to adjust course repeatedly. It would buy us time and reduce the chance of casualties." The council fell silent. Then, slowly, Lyra's eyes glowed with approval. "It is risky, but possible. Alex, you will lead a team with our top engineers to implement this strategy." Alex's heart raced. Leading the defense of an entire planet? He had never imagined anything like this. Yet Lyra's trust gave him strength. The preparations were intense. Alex worked tirelessly alongside Zarathian engineers, coordinating the creation of temporary gravitational fields and calculating precise timings for each maneuver. Every decision mattered. One small miscalculation could mean disaster. Lyra remained by his side throughout, offering guidance and insight, but allowing Alex to make decisions. Her presence was reassuring, but it also reminded him that failure was not an option. As the rogue fleet drew closer, Alex and Lyra oversaw the activation of the first gravitational distortions. The enemy vessels adjusted their course, just as predicted. Alex's pulse quickened with excitement and fear. This was working, but only if every subsequent step went perfectly. During the operation, a large vessel from the fleet broke formation, attempting to flank Zarathis from an unexpected angle. Alex quickly recalculated, directing a smaller gravitational pulse to intercept it. His hands trembled as he manipulated the controls, but the pulse hit its mark. The vessel veered away from the planet, narrowly avoiding collision with a moon. Lyra's gaze met his, and for a moment no words were necessary. Trust and understanding passed between them silently. "Well done," she conveyed. The operation continued for hours, each movement precise, each calculation critical. Alex felt a strange exhilaration. Despite the fear and pressure, he was contributing in a meaningful way, showing humans' ingenuity and adaptability. Finally, the rogue fleet, exhausted by repeated course corrections and unable to penetrate Zarathis' defenses, retreated. The council erupted in quiet celebration, their glowing patterns and harmonic vibrations expressing relief and gratitude. Alex leaned against the observation platform, breathless but smiling. Lyra stood beside him, her presence steady and warm. "You have done more than I expected, human," she said. "You have proven that humans are capable of great things when given the chance." Alex laughed softly. I just did what I could. You guided me." Guidance only matters if the other person acts. You acted with intelligence and courage. That is why you succeeded. For the first time since arriving on Zarathus, Alex felt truly proud of himself. He had entered the alien world as a visitor, a clumsy human who accidentally proposed to a queen. Now he had played a vital role in defending an entire planet. Lyra extended her hand, and Alex took it, feeling the faint shimmer of energy that connected them. You are not just my betrothed in ceremony, Alex. You are my partner in this, and I trust you. Alex's chest tightened. Trust, respect, admiration. Words he had rarely received in such a complete form. He realized that Lyra's acceptance of him was not merely ceremonial, it was genuine. She valued his mind, his courage, and his humanity. In the following days, Alex continued to work closely with Lyra. They reviewed planetary defenses, analyzed potential threats, and improved communication between human and Zarathian technologies. Their partnership became seamless, two minds from different worlds complementing each other. One afternoon, while reviewing data in the palace gardens, Alex paused. Lyra, I never thought I'd be here doing this. I was just an engineer from Earth, and now, this. Lyra smiled gently, her skin shifting softly in the light. You adapt, Alex. You learn, and you act when needed. That is rare. Humans often underestimate themselves. Alex laughed softly. I still underestimate myself sometimes, but with you here, guiding me, it feels different. I guide, but you act. That is what matters. You have courage and ingenuity. That is why you succeeded. That evening, Alex watched the twin moons rise over the palace gardens, their silver light reflecting in Lyra's eyes. He thought of Earth, of his ordinary life there, and realized how far he had come. He had faced alien customs, survived political and ceremonial challenges, and now helped save a planet. And yet, he felt there was more to learn, more to prove, not just to the Zarathians, but to himself. Lyra joined him quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. There will be more challenges, Alex, but you will face them with courage, together. Alex nodded, feeling the weight and warmth of her words. Together. It was a simple word, but it carried meaning he had never felt before. They were partners, allies, and, whether he admitted it or not, something more. As the stars sparkled in the Zarathian sky, Alex Harper understood one simple truth. Being human was not a weakness here. His curiosity, courage, and willingness to act were strengths. And with Lyra by his side, he could face anything this alien world, or the universe, threw at him. For the first time in his life, Alex felt like he truly belonged. Not just on Zarathus, but in a story far greater than he could have imagined. And as he looked at the Queen standing tall and radiant beside him, he knew that whatever came next, they would face it together. The twin moons of Zarathus glowed softly over the palace as Alex Harper walked beside Queen Lyra. The events of the past weeks had been overwhelming. Accidental proposals, cultural challenges, political crises, and even defending the planet from cosmic threats. Yet now, for the first time, the palace felt calm. Alex felt a strange mix of relief, pride, and anticipation for what was to come. Lyra's voice appeared gently in his mind. You have grown, Alex. You are no longer merely a visitor. You are a partner. And perhaps it is time we discuss the future. Alex nodded, though his stomach tightened. The thought of the future with the Queen was intimidating. He had survived the asteroid, the rogue fleet, and countless Zarathian customs, but this conversation was different. It was personal. They strolled through the palace gardens, glowing plants illuminating their path. The air shimmered with bioluminescent pollen, drifting like starlight. Alex marveled at the beauty, but also at how far he had come. Not long ago, he had been a clumsy human trying to avoid embarrassing himself in a ceremony. Now, he walked beside a queen, trusted as an equal. "Alex," Lyra continued, "I have watched you grow through challenges and uncertainties. You have courage, wisdom, and ingenuity. I have accepted your human nature, your imperfections, and your determination. You have earned my respect, trust, and admiration." Alex stopped walking, surprised by the depth of her words. "You really mean that?" he thought. "Yes." Lyra's gaze softened. "What began as an accidental proposal has shown me that humans can be more than we imagined. And you, Alex, have proven that humanity's courage and creativity are strengths." Alex felt warmth spread through him. He realized that his mistakes, his awkwardness, even his fears, they had all led to this. It was not just survival, it was growth. And Lyra had recognized it. "I want us to move forward together," Lyra said, her voice steady, "not just in ceremony, but as allies, friends, and partners in guiding Zarathus toward a future of cooperation with humans." Alex swallowed, his mind racing. Could he live up to this? Could he be someone worthy of the Queen's trust and the responsibilities it carried? He nodded. I will try my best, Lyra. I want to help, to learn, and to be worthy of your trust." Lyra's smile was radiant, her violet eyes shimmering in the moonlight. "That is all I ask, Alex. Effort, courage, and honesty. You already possess these qualities." They continued walking, and Alex noticed how the palace gardens seemed even more alive than before. Perhaps it was his perception, or perhaps it was a reflection of the harmony between Zarathians and humans he now felt part of. Over the next days, Alex and Lyra worked together on projects that strengthened Zarathus's defenses, improved communication with human fleets, and expanded scientific collaboration. Alex suggested ideas from Earth technology, while Lyra provided insight into advanced Zarathian science. Their combined knowledge led to innovations that neither species could have achieved alone. One afternoon, Alex demonstrated a human energy converter adapted for Zarathian power fields. The device worked seamlessly, amplifying the energy of a deflection field without overloading it, Lyra observed, her glowing hair shimmering in admiration. "Your human ideas continue to surprise me," she said. "They are practical and creative. You have a talent for connecting what seems impossible." Alex smiled, feeling a quiet pride. "I just try to think differently. Sometimes that's enough to solve problems." "It is more than enough," Lyra replied. As they worked side by side, Alex began to understand more than technology or politics. He understood the Queen herself. She was not just a leader. She was thoughtful, patient, and wise. She valued effort over perfection, courage over experience, and honesty over pretense. In return, Alex found himself offering loyalty, creativity, and a perspective that even the Zarathians could not anticipate. One evening, Lyra invited Alex to a quiet spot in the palace gardens, away from the council chambers and engineers. The glowing plants reflected in a crystal pool, and the twin moons hung low. The air was calm, and for a moment, the universe felt small and personal. "Alex," Lyra said softly, "I want to ask something important. You have faced Zarathian culture, politics, and danger, and you have done so admirably. But now, will you remain by my side, not just as an envoy or a partner in work, but as a companion in life?" Alex's heart raced. He had never imagined his arrival on Zarathus leading to this moment. Yet looking into Lyra's eyes, he felt a certainty he had never known. I will, he thought, his answer clear. "I will stay by your side. I will learn, grow, and do my best, for you and for Zarathus." Lyra's expression softened, a shimmer of satisfaction in her gaze. "Then let us move forward together, Alex. Not as an accident, but as a choice." Alex laughed softly, a mixture of relief and joy. "A choice I'm honored to make," he said. In the following weeks, the human-Zarathian alliance grew stronger. Alex became a bridge between worlds, showing humans' ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. The Zarathians learned from him, and he learned from them. Together, they improved planetary defenses, developed new technologies, and strengthened relations with human colonies. Despite the seriousness of his new responsibilities, Alex never lost his sense of humor and humility. He still stumbled over customs, tripped over floating walkways, and mispronounced Zarathian phrases. But Lyra's patience and encouragement turned each mistake into a lesson rather than a failure. One evening, as Alex and Lyra walked through the palace gardens, Alex glanced at the glowing plants and floating lights. "You know," he said, "I never thought a simple delivery mission would lead to all this, from Earth engineer to whatever I am now." Lyra laughed softly, a melodic sound that seemed to harmonize with the garden. "You are more than you imagined yourself to be, Alex. Courage, curiosity, and effort matter here. You have them all." Alex smiled. "I guess the accidental proposal wasn't so bad after all." Lyra's eyes glimmered with amusement. "Perhaps not. Sometimes accidents reveal the greatest potential." As the twin moons reflected on the crystal pool, Alex realized that his life had changed forever. He had come to Zarathus by accident, faced challenges he never imagined, and found trust, respect, and purpose in a world far beyond Earth. And now, standing beside Queen Lyra, he felt ready for whatever came next. Not just as a visitor, not just as a human in an alien world, but as a partner, a friend, and someone who could contribute meaningfully to the future of two civilizations. "Together," Lyra said, her voice warm and steady, "we will face the future." Alex nodded, heart steady with determination. Together. And for the first time in his life, Alex Harper felt that being human, imperfect, curious, courageous, was enough. Enough to make a difference. Enough to build trust across worlds. Enough to face the vast unknown with hope. The palace lights glowed softly around them. The twin moons rose higher, and Zarathus itself seemed to hum with quiet approval. Alex and Lyra walked forward, ready for a new beginning, a future shaped by courage, partnership, and the extraordinary potential of humanity. For Alex Harper, the accidental proposal had become the start of a remarkable journey, one that proved humans could rise to greatness in the stars, and that even mistakes could lead to destiny. And in the heart of an alien world, under glowing moons and shimmering gardens, two worlds had found a new beginning together.